to the trip. I've got our panel here today, and we'll say hello and then we'll get going. Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing so.
Cool. I think so for Tony is Monday. And Spencer, how you doing?
Oh, just doing excellent, Gary, Tom. Tony. Welcome and
There you go.
happy Monday.
Yes, yes. And in the house already joining us, we've got BX Gunner. Thanks, BX Gunner, for joining us. Thanks for moderating and for pushing out the message to the groups. Thank you very much for that. I see that when you do it, so I'm gonna say thank you. All right, so let's get into it. We are, what are we? It's Monday. The first week of the Premier League is over. Everybody's played. Not everybody's won. Arsenal won, so that's all we really care about. I guess we'll have everybody have their say. I mean, we did. I have heard Tony say, "Tony's what's going on, dude? Why are you
But
like? Why are you
I have no idea why my iPad flips.
what's going on? Are you gonna go upside down now? What's going on? What?
I'm a vampire. I, I, I don't know how my big iPad senses that it's off tilt. It put me
All
on my
right.
side, but
I was a little strange. I was trying to figure out what was going on there, but yes. All right. So Arsenal got the win. I'll give my quick synopsis, and then we'll go around. First game of the season. I did expect Arsenal to do better than as far as scores go, but it is the first game. I'll take that. I'll say it again. It sounds silly, but I had them winning 5-0, and 5-0 for me would have shown that we're ready to go. But I guess first game of the season, you're asking too much. I think we had 5 goals in us for sure, but yeah, we'll take the 2-0 and the clean sheet for Rea with the 2 saves. So I think that stands out. Saka and Havertz stands out, and then everybody else contributed. So I think we're doing good there. So Tony, quick review of the game.
it ended up being a little too close than it should be. If you take out Reyes saves, then they probably tie us or beat us. So, and they really weren't that big into the game. But thing we need more goals. I was reading the ESPN article saying what each team need, and the header was Arsenal need goals. That's true. Still, we still lack that clinical ability. 18 shots, 6 on target. You expect more to be in the back of the net, but we'll see how the season goes on.
Cool. And Spencer, I heard Tony say his piece on Sunday. I haven't heard yours yet. So, your review of the game.
So, honestly, first thoughts when I saw the lineup, the first thing I texted my buddy is like, we're missing midfielders because it felt like we had attackers on the bench. Jesus, Trossard, Kedia, Nawari. We can talk about the quality of who was there later, but it looked like very forward heavy and very backward heavy. But anyway, overall, it felt like an opening game of the season where it was kind of like, let's get our legs under us. They didn't look extremely good, but they didn't look extremely bad either. Raya made a couple of big saves that absolutely saved them. A goal from Havertz and Saka. Outside of those, that one big save that I can remember off the top of my head, I never really felt like Wolves were ever really going to threaten us. It just felt like the defense was sloppy. That's what it felt like in possession of the ball. The passing and the selection. That's really was my takeaway. But so far, 3 points. Can't really complain. I mean, for expectations, the first game of the season. So, but
Yes. Yeah. I mean, as you said, they didn't really threaten us. We kind of gave them openings most of the time, and that's us not concentrating with that his first game, issues basically. I mean, Saka, but Saliba probably had his worst game, hopefully of the season. I mean, some of the ball placement he was putting in there. I mean, gave the ball away, and he set up that last shot attempt that they had that could have threatened us. But otherwise, I think defensively we were solid. They didn't really get much. I mean, I think once again we take a lead and then we take our foot off the gas, and that kind of is, for me, we can't do that because this is telling, and it was telling last season, right? The Fulham game, we're up 2-1. Either you finish off the game or you're defensively solid. We were neither, and we paid for it. Today, kind of the same things. I think those 5 minutes before Saka scored, it looked a little tense there because they were starting to get a hold of the game. So yeah, I kind of feel like we need to, like Arteta. I don't know what he tells them, but whatever he's telling me to tell him the opposite. Because after we score one, the motive and expectation should be score again. All right. Seems like I don't like we do it too much for it to like I said, either you're coaching it or you're letting it happen.
It has to be coaching because we've seen it so much for the last season, couple of seasons.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like we need some of those bang, bang, hit them fast. And then when they look around, they're down 2 goals trying to figure out what just happened. Right. And we just kind of take the first goal and go, all right, let's play some defense. It's like, well, when you play defense, guess what? That means the ball's on your half for most of that part because you're defending. You don't go up, you don't press anymore. So you let them come into you. Like you're just like a boxer, right? For the first round, you come out swinging. Second half, you kind of lay back, and the guy's taking shots at you. They might get a lucky one. I think you just continue to put pressure on them, and event like it. When's it? You always say when you hear that phrase, it's a goal's about to happen, right? We need that pretty much after we score. After we score, it seems like Arsenal's letting them back in the game. I don't know how you feel like that, Spencer. I kind of feel like that kind of happened in this game. We're at home. It was Super Kev's day and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of emotions in the air. We're slated to have probably hopefully our best year in the last 10 plus years.
So my thought process is like we talked about, I never really felt like we were truly threatened outside of. It felt like Wolves set in the second half, and it felt like it's like the first half they came back. We don't want to lose, we don't want to get pumped, and then they realized it was 1-0, and it was like, okay, let's have a go at it here, and that's really credit to Wolves, trying to bring the game to Arsenal. And you think about it, definitely felt sloppy with the ball. I think pass percentage we were 85% on the day. It's funny because we talk about being clinical and putting teams away. I just don't know if we have the players for that right now. And I'm not dogging the players we have, but it's that mentality, right? And it's kind of one of these, like, we need Martinelli to start scoring goals. Like Saka does his part, Havertz does his part, Odegaard does his part, but we need some of these other players to push in and start, putting the ball in the back of the net. I thought it was really crazy when Trossard came on for Saka and gave him a little bit of rest. I was like, Gary's gonna be happy because Saka didn't play a full game. So there is some like, okay, we're gonna manage Saka this year, which is good. Put some trust in some players to do their part. Yeah, it's definitely something that I think needs to be developed and pushed on further. And the transfers that we're linked to aren't any attackers. So, but we'll see. I just have a feeling this team's better set off this year than we were last year. We talk about the Fulham game, we talk about the Forest game and how that looked very sloppy. as sloppy as we could talk about the Wolves game, I never really felt it was the same as the Forest game because the Forest game opened the season last year and it was very on edge towards the end, but it didn't have that same feel, right? I know there was a video making the Twitter rounds of Urian Timber, on the ball. Well, he's the one that he held the ball too long and had the turnover for the shot on target. So, it's crazy what social media shows you. Hey, look at he's great on the ball. Well, let's show the next 10 seconds here. And but yeah, it's like I was telling my buddy, I was like, Zinchenko started this game, but I imagine 5-6 games from now, Calafiori will be starting in that position. So I feel really good about this team right now as far as compared to last year. There feels more knowns and unknowns, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's we got Kai Havertz actually feels like he's in form. Vice last year where it was kind of like, what do we do with this guy at this point, right? So yeah, I mean you got a full test on Saturday. Full test on Saturday. Villa Park, 12:30. Not going to be an easy game. So
All right.
they need to find it quick.
Yeah, you said a lot there, so I'm gonna we'll try to go back through some of that. We'll start with the last part, and as you said, we're talking about Kai Havertz. Tony, talk to me about Kai Havertz. Spencer was just saying that he seems to be in form more than he was last season.
last year, for the first 6 months, he was in the midfield. Jesus got injured, and they finally said, "Oh, let's play Kai in his natural preferred position." So if you put somebody where they feel comfortable at, we got enough attacking possession to get him the ball. So nice header, nice goal. I still think we need another striker, but I'm not happy
We don't need another striker right now. Over the course of a season, we might need another striker. But for the first game of the season, I think he did well with what he was able to do. I mean, 2 goal contributions in one game is good. Is good, especially as Spencer said, you weren't getting much from Martinelli in a sense of he didn't contribute in terms of like any type potential assists, and of course his shooting isn't clinical enough. Or for me, I think he just shoots too late. He shoots when it's too late, when there's like less chance of it going in, like when the defense is settled. I think the best attackers and clinical attackers usually shoot before the defender can settle down. The ball's gone. They're like trying to get back into position, boom, ball's gone. All right, or you kick it where the defense isn't. He doesn't do that either. So,
that's why I said yesterday that I didn't like Martinelli starting. I go with Trossard because he's clinical, better decision on passing and shooting. So
yeah, man. But my comeback to that is they both have pros and cons to their game. One's clinical, but can't take the ball down the pitch like the other. One's got pace and one's clinical. That doesn't really. We need both. We need a happy medium of the two, and we're not getting that either. So, in a game where it's going to be open, you kind of want Martinelli to be in there. When a game where it's going to be kind of tight, where, for example, we're playing City, you probably can do with Trossard because guess what? We're probably not going to want to have the ball much, and when we do, we'll be set, all right? Because we have somebody who can actually shoot. Playing Wolves, we should be able to attack them. So for me, I think that's the focus there. That's why there's a difference, and that's why he'll play most games because most games we'll be playing against teams who we should be able to run at. All right, that's kind of how I see it. I'm gonna try, Spencer. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, that left wing position is going to be critical. I mean, for me, like I'd love to see him bring in another forward player, whether it's a striker, preferably a winger, someone that pushes these guys further on in their development, especially with Martinelli. Like the talent is there. you can train, I think, him to see the game differently. He's at an age where it's more receptive. I think he's what 22, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
like he hasn't hit his
I think he's
prime yet.
21 actually now, because
Well,
let's see.
awesome if he's 21. I mean, just think about it. Like
Oh,
Trosser,
he's older than Saka. Sorry, he's
so he's
23.
22.
He's
He's
23.
23. All right, so with Trossard, you're never going to get the same stuff on the field that you're going to get from Martinelli without a bit. Not at Trossard's age.
Mm.
If you got Martinelli without already, like it feels like something that you can teach. The big problem he has, he hold on to the ball too long, and he's so direct, and then he gets that turn, and you're like, once he's turned, you're like, all right, now you need to do something, but he keeps going and he keeps going. You're like, you should have done something by now. So now the target that was open is now just shrunk even further, right? So, yeah, that his development, I think, is really I, that's what we're missing. I think if we get 10 to 15 goals from Martinelli, I don't think we'll miss. I don't think we'll be crying out for attacking presence as much as we would think we would, because you'll have those goals from him. You're obviously going to have your contributions from Trossard, Havertz, Saka, Odegaard, Declan Rice at times. But that's that missing piece, and Jesus, of course. That's that missing piece where you can get that extra 10 to 15 goals. I don't remember how many he had last year, but when he missed the time, like he's such a deadly weapon. Like he's such a player that, I mean, Klopp spoke highly of him and everything. I mean, we need him to develop even further this season. So he may be the missing piece. His development pushes forward.
True. Yeah. Yeah. No, because I saw when he took that shot, which I was kind of okay with it, but then where the angle that he's shooting from is, and he's shooting low, so the goalkeeper's got that. And if he puts that into the top corner there on the near side, maybe he has a chance. Goalkeeper might tip it over, might miss it. All those things happen. But then and then you see Rice put his hands in the air, basically like, I'm coming into the box. If you pass it to me, I'm putting my foot through this. All right. And so as some people said, it's probably a football IQ issue with him. All right. His football IQ in those type of situations. It's as Ray says, it's chicken without a head, kind of just running crazy there.
Gary, you know something you notice about him when he's making that cut into the box? His head's still down. He doesn't have his head up looking for the pass or looking at what he's going to do. If you go back, watch him when he makes those cuts. He keeps his head down. Obviously, when he's out in the open field, he looks up, but then there's moments where you'll see him cut in and he's still looking down, getting ready to look up. By the time he looks up, like we said, that opportunity is now shrunk. So he just needs to learn to trust those feet and have those eyes ready to go. Like you said, if Rice is right there, he pushes it right through, right? So, yeah, he's going to have to learn that.
I've lost count of how many times he just gets on that left side, cuts him, and just the defender leads him out, and it ends up being a goal kick because it dribbles off.
If he's gonna cut in like that, he needs to go straight to the goal. Like they're gonna have to run him over. That's how bad it has to be. Like the trick, for me, the part is like Saka is so secure and risk averse, and Martinelli is restless. Takes all the risks, right? And they usually lead him with nothing, right? So yeah, like he got 15 goals, and I think now that he's got the 6 goals aren't really a good indication because he was injured. So I'm looking for my pen, which I just dropped. So it's hard to compare the two, right? I mean, one's injury riddled season. One is him being pretty healthy for most of the season. So I kind of feel like that's a difference for me. And maybe he's got the legs now. So the trick is to get back into that form. Maybe he'll start slow like some players do. I think Wolves is a good one. Villa is another one, but then the next 3 games I think will be a little tricky because be preparing for the two biggest games of the, this first part of the season. Can we we're playing at the Toilet Bowl and at the Emirates. Sorry, in Etihad. All right, it's going to be tough. Even though what you saw today from that team, I don't know what you saw. Did you see the game today, Tony?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Seen the result. I was surprised, like I said on Thursday. I thought on the challenge, more people would have took Leicester. Leicester did great in the championship last year. Finally doing what they should have did when they were in the league. So not a huge surprise that they got a result.
Yeah, but it's that team, right? I know Brandon Johnson missed a shot. I didn't see it. I just saw the aftermath of it. I was looking away or something, and I came back and it's like, how did he miss that? And I didn't rewind. But he's known for that. But the goal they gave up was that was terrible. Pretty much left Vardy alone on an island at the far post. If you know anything about a striker, a proper striker, even if he's old, you don't leave him alone on the far post. Somebody should be screaming for him to get covered, and nobody did. And they paid for that. Paid for that dearly. And that's kind of what we need, a player who's going to put himself in those situations. All right. So that was, I was laughing because it happened, but I don't think, because that's on the right side. Yeah, I don't think Ben White's leaving Vardy alone in the box. You know what I mean? That's
37-year-old Jamie Vardy too at that.
Yeah, but
that's impressive at that age, man.
Yeah, he played. And he came out, I think, right after he scored because why not? They need to defend now. Yeah.
I'll tell you what a buddy of mine said. He texted me the lineup, and talking about that team's lineup and how strong it's actually a very strong lineup if you look at it. And of course they don't even have Basuma, but Van de Ven, Pero, Doggy, Doji. That's a good front three in Son, Solanke, and Johnson, right? Madison can't stay healthy for a whole season. They've got answers on the bench too, and Kuleveski and Richarlison. They're still, but they still are that team, and it's interesting to see how Leicester that they fought back in that game. I watched it. I was kind of. It felt like Leicester was just kind of scared in the first half. If that makes sense, like, hey, we're back in the Premier League. This is a little bit different. A different vibe, different feel for them. And then like the second half, it seemed like that team, case in point, what you just said earlier about letting your foot off the gas, it felt like it was kind of like a letdown in that second half for them. And they could have been up even more and they would have never been in the position they were in. But, that's what happens when you leave some of the little best teams, just let them get back in the game. It's what happens.
Yeah. Tony, anything else? You didn't see the game, but anything? Yeah. No, you actually mentioned it, and that's the problem with that team. All right. Basuma did not start. I don't know if he was on the bench because he's out for they always have something. Somebody's out for some reason. And now it seems Bentancur would be out for a bit. I didn't see I think it was a head collision or something like that. Because they stretched him off, right? And it sounds like Porro also went off for an injury. So that is the issue with that team. Like, yeah, they might have some really good players, but like it's going to be game 2, and they already might have to replace 2 players. And what was their starting lineup? And you don't feel like you should be doing that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do it because our starting left backs weren't ready. I mean, I'm hoping if California is our left back for the future, he needs to play.
100%.
right? Because I don't know if he was starting from where he came from, but if he's our left back, he needs to play because we need him ready to go when we go to North London. I think, as I said, as Zinchenko was walking off the pitch, that's probably his last start. If Tomiyasu, Calafiore, Timber all are back, that puts him fourth.
Then it makes the question: does he end up becoming a midfielder?
I don't
He
know
already
why.
plays in that area.
Yeah.
Sorry, he should be, but Arteta doesn't see it for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we know he's
Ah.
staying because he got a new number, right? So that's pretty
I
evident.
find it weird when they do stuff like that. Like, cause it always backfires. Why are you changing his number? He's not. You're changing his number, but you actually went out there and got another left back. Got one last year, and you got one this year.
I've won every year for the last 5 years, Gary.
Yeah, but no, but the two that we got in these last 2 years are legitimately putting him on the bench if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, I still would have started Kiwior yesterday.
He's not part of our future. Was he even on the
I just
bench?
wonder, does Calafiore do what Arteta wants? Does he go and
He can
attack?
play both left side of the defensive side. So why would you bring him if he can't do what Arteta wants?
That's the thing. It's like
You're saying he
does.
doesn't do what Arteta wants.
Yeah,
I don't think Arteta brings players in. Like, he hasn't shown he's bringing players in that don't do what he wants.
but he's even converted Tomiyasu into doing that attacking instead of doing what he does best, is sitting back there and defend.
Yeah, but he can do both, Tony. That's the thing. Timber, Calafiore, and Tomiyasu can actually do both, and they can defend. Tomiyasu probably is the least likely to move up, but he can do it once in a while. But you know what? Defensively, he's more solid, right?
It's almost like he wants
Right.
versatile players, right? People that can do multiple things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's
But I think that's why where Spencer said earlier, we've ended up where we really don't have much depth at midfield. You got all these defenders that can do multiple things, and your attacking players can, but they're in midfield. You're kind of light because you lose Smith Rowe, you don't go replace him. It's like all these players leave, but they never get replaced. Then our depth never increases. So leaves us light.
Well, we don't. Yeah, you're right. We don't have depth, but we're supposed to bring in Moreno, and if we're bringing him in, there's another depth answer there, in where he's in. So that's another answer, right? So those are the three players right now that can, if we had to, replace all our starters.
and that's very telling with Amori making the lineup on Saturday by
Yep.
Kiwior. That tells you, in my opinion, that he sees Amori as some part of this team he wants to push forward in the future. What that's going to be, I'm like I said, I'm hoping if you're not going to bring in a winger this window. I mean, look who else didn't make the lineup, and I'm breaking my thought. Vieira didn't even make the lineup on Saturday. So that's another one, right? But if you're not going to push him out on loan, let's use this kid and see where he plays, and maybe you find another diamond in the rough like Saka. Maybe they don't make Zakas on trees, but the kid's 17 and he signed a senior team deal for some reason. So let's use him. And he looked good in the preseason when we saw him play, right? So maybe he's another attacking answer.
And the reason why, well, and that's why we need to be winning games 3 and 4 now. There's no way Arteta, based on his track record and the way that he manages and sees games out, is going to go to his bench, especially for Nweri, Fabio Vieira, Kiwior, I believe, now, without us having a substantial lead, right? Hey, Bargav has joined us. Welcome to the show, Bargav. Got Lonzo in the house. Everybody say hello. Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yes. Not Kirio next week. Leo. No, Kirio. Yeah. I mean, I think Tony just means in general, but and we don't have these first 5 games. I don't know what you guys think. There's no vetting in anybody really and truly. As far as I'm concerned, we need to like have our best 11 going into the North London Derby, and that's not going to happen if we're switching in and out players, right? Like the Brighton game, if we're not done at halftime, then yeah, I think not necessarily in trouble, but those guys are going to, I think, when is it? I thought we had 2 games and then we don't even have a break. When is the break is after the 7th game. All right.
Yeah, I thought the
But
first three, some of the first 3 games was like Villa.
oh, you're
City,
right. So the
or-
first 3 games, and then going into the 2 big ones we have away, this is the break, right? So yeah, that's why I kind of feel like, well, we're probably just gonna, if we're gonna do it right, we just play everybody. The first 11, first 13, 14 players play for the first 5 games, because after that we play Leicester City, Southampton, Bournemouth. So we have at least 2 games there because we play Liverpool after Bournemouth. So we have multiple games to get other players in. I don't think the first 5 are, in my eyes, are games for vetting in anybody who's new. Yeah, unless we do what we're supposed to do, which is blow teams out, which we can, and that's one of the things we need to be able to do, right?
I think you'll see vetting from like Calafiori and stuff like that. But
No, he's
you know,
a starter though for us.
right. That's what I mean. That's
Lapiori,
that.
Moreno,
Yeah.
those are considered starters for us, right? They
Right,
can
starter
start
quality.
things.
Yeah, like Nawari's not coming on 2-1 up at Villa in the 80th minute. I could be wrong, but probably not coming in, right? So there's a lot of validity to what you said right there. But yeah, it's like you said, take care of these teams early, man. Put them away early.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done, but it's not going to be easy. But it's also good to get these tough games out of the way now.
Yeah.
So
we got to be prepared for them. So Tony, going into, like I said, we get the international break. So whatever we do in that Brighton game before we start, I think could roll over or could be like a welcome break. Either way, I think these first 3 games should, for me, be telling games as to how we're going to do when we get back.
Yeah, it gives you 2 weeks to kind of sit there and get players more acclimated. Try out a few different things, see how that works, and hopefully we do it. But
Well, no, we
I
don't.
just
There's no hoping. We should do it. That's what that has to be what we do. Like hoping. We're not in the hoping stage anymore. We know these guys can do it. As
yeah,
far as
but
I'm concerned, like I
it's
hope
just
and
on
where he
top.
gets to play, but that I don't. But like I know Calafiori and Moreno will play. There's a difference.
Yeah, but what you saying that Mourinho's more seen as a off the bench player than actually being a
Moreno?
starter? Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I didn't say that. If that's what you thought you heard, no. Moreno's coming in to play for us. He'll be just just think of him. I think he's same age, around the same age as Jorginho. Jorginho can start for us, right? Will he play a lot of games? Probably not, but he can start for us. We can. Partey's not going to start every game. We know this, and Rice. It'd be nice to put him up a little bit and let Jorginho and Partey play, right? Moreno for me is similar to that as well. There'd be games where you might not want to use Rice or Partey, right? If you can use Moreno and Jorginho, why not?
it feels like the club is potentially looking at Partey as like you're a valuable asset, but I can't trust you for 38 games. So I need to make sure I have coverage for when you can't go.
You know,
That's the the vibe that I'm getting on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I hope I didn't say 21. I thought I meant. I hope I didn't say 31. I think I said 28. I know
Yeah, he's about
Jorginho's
28.
31. Yeah. That. Yeah. Oh, here we go. This is a. Yeah. How about that? Let's talk. We need to talk. Get on Highwards about the miss.
It was a bad miss.
He would be a top scorer if he takes his chances. Now, that is why I believe we're all saying we need a striker. His header is what his striker header, but that miss from that spot in front of the goal on the left side, missing high wide right. Nah. And with space and time, you can't do that. You got to put it on target at the least. At the least, he's got to put that on target. Tony, did you see that miss?
I did not see the miss.
You didn't see the game?
I didn't see the first half.
Was that in the first half?
Second half.
So yes. Gotcha. So try again, Tony. Oh.
No,
I could be wrong though.
So you know what? I think it was because Trossard, I think, is the one that made the pass. And Trossard came in. Not Trossard came in. No, who came in? Who made that pass? Well, maybe it was Martinelli. Maybe it was Martinelli that did.
It was like in the 50th minute or something. It was
Martinelli.
like
Martinelli made that pass. I wrote down notes, but I put them away now. But yeah, I think. Yeah, no, he's got to make that shot. I don't know what you think about that, Spencer, but
yeah, I'm not very upset because I could have had two of 20 up here. You know what I mean? So,
you're not upset? Is that what you said?
No, I said I'm upset because I could have put the Havertz 2 of 20 as opposed to 1 of 20. But yeah, it was a bad miss. It almost like he wanted to curl it because like he was almost like he was trying to like do that like upper corner thing where it just kind of like floats in. But he just like hammer footed it. I don't know.
Like the one time you want them to hit it basically right at the goal, like they usually do, which is where the goalkeeper is. If he does that, he scores because the goalkeeper's not. It's too early. Goalkeeper hasn't even moved yet. He went where the goalkeeper was going, as opposed to if he hits it straight, I think he might hit a defender. But if it deflects the right way, it goes in. Puts his foot through that thing.
Worst case scenario, it's a loose ball in the box that
exactly
anybody's game.
Yeah, he has to do much better on that. And that's the thing. He will get in those positions, I think, every other game. Every other game, he'll be in a position where it's one-on-one with the goalkeeper or a situation where he's puts up, as a position to score. Yeah, not good. He makes nice runs. He does. He puts himself in good positions, and then he fails us. Yeah. 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 And that's the thing. And certainly he can't be doing that anymore. It's all of that shy stuff was last year. Coming into the new club, having to get his first goal has to be a PK given to him by a teammate. No, that time is gone now. He should feel confident, and that's I think Arteta does for his players. He should feel good about what he's doing out there and be confident about it. Yeah, we got the boss in the house. Got Spence's boss. Holly's in the house. Welcome to the show. Yep, 74 minute. Saka puts that goal in. I think a couple minutes before that, I believe he took a shot and it didn't come off the way he wanted. You want to hear Tony's thoughts? Yeah, I'm asking Tony.
Tony didn't see that part. Why did Tony?
Tony said he didn't see half the game. So how am I supposed to get his thoughts?
Woke up late, Gary.
What is it?
Now
look, he can't even get his camera straight.
I don't know why he keeps flipping.
You're not having an Oklahoma earthquake, are you?
I know. This is.
We don't have too many of those now since they finally decided, it is rough vacuum that isn't it? Yeah. Stupid governor. You're having 1,000 earthquakes a year.
So what did you see Havertz do well then, from what you did see, Tony?
He stays in the spot. He's big. He can hold up possession. And that's pretty much what I've seen from him.
I hear you. Yeah, no, like I said, that miss kind of like tainted a little bit of what he did for me because he needs to. At least if he puts it on target, I don't say much because he had a really good game. But that miss, 20 is fair. What is that? 81-20? What is that?
Yeah, from Havertz.
81-20. What does that mean?
No, 81 is BX's handle, right?
Oh,
And 20 is fair. So for Havertz.
getting 20 goals. Well, he's going to be put in a lot of positions. 20 goals. Yeah, we can do 13 and not be even playing up top. Like that's going to be the problem. Though, is like Arteta brings in Moreno, Havertz never plays in midfield again. And where he gets to shine for a bit, there's no space for him. Where's he going to play? In midfield, he don't. He starts up top. So Jesus has to work his way in on the wings, right?
Yeah, I mean that's where you're gonna put them at. You're gonna have Jesus on the wings. You're probably gonna have Trossard on the wings. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens here with Eddie. I know we'll get into that, but curious to see who's gonna be that backup center forward for Havertz.
Yeah. No. We're talking goals. We don't care about GA just yet. Like Saka should be getting like 35 GA. Yeah. Havertz 20 goals. If he got 20 goals and 1 assist, I'm happy. More than if he gets 10 goals, 10 assists. For me, if he's a striker.
I still have a feeling if he doesn't get MJ, he'll get over 20 goals.
Yeah. Well, see that you say knock on wood there, Tony. He seems to have been pretty healthy last year. Played pretty much every game, right?
Yeah, that's our problem. He's played every game the last
Well, it turns out that
2 seasons.
as much as we don't like that, the best players play most of the games. And when you're winning trophies, they play most of the games. And
Yeah,
we need to win trophies, so they're going to play most of the games.
Yeah, but most of the time, your best players are 19, 20 years old. So
Yeah. Attacking midfielder, we don't play him there. Right? I don't feel like we play him as an attacking midfielder.
You're talking about the Leverkusen, but if you look at his player positioning, he does play as a 9, but he does fall back in the midfield a lot.
Yeah,
Especially
but I mean,
against
we don't
Monterrey.
like when we play him in midfield. He's not asked to do much. For me, he doesn't feel like he does enough attacking for me to call him an attacking midfielder in our system.
even Odegaard isn't in our system because
He's not. He's not. Is he an attacking midfielder? I don't think that was ever going to be his thing. Even though I think he should be shooting a lot more. Like I don't know if he even took a shot on the weekend. How is the man not even take? Let's check it out. I don't even know if he took a shot. I mean, he should have shot in that game, right? Let's see. Did he take a shot? 1 shot on target. Okay. He did get 1. I don't remember when that was, but yeah. He should be taking more than 1 shot in the game. I don't even think, did he even have even a chance of getting an assist? Nope. Like, how is Erdegaard playing in 90 minutes? He played 90 minutes and had 0.06 expected assists.
Don't really have an answer to that.
That's the role he's supposed to play for our team, right? At the end of the day, at the end of 38 games, you expect to see double-digit assists from him, right?
Yep.
Like if it's not from him, it's not from Rice, it's not from Moreno, it's not from Jorginho, not from Fabio Vieira, not from Nweri, not from Partey. Like somebody in our midfield should be distributing the ball for assists, right?
Yeah, but Odegaard, it's because of the way we play. Odegaard drops back to give cover because White's going forward. He did that a lot last year. That's why his goals are down. So now it looks like he's going to
White
do the
doesn't
same thing
always
this
go
year.
up, right? And you see multiple times Erdegaard has the ball inside the attacking third, all right? Probably 50-50. Ben White doesn't attack. And because think about it, sometimes Saka is there by himself, and who should be nearby? It should be Erdegaard, all right?
Yep.
Like the cross that he puts in, right? I mean, that was off of a free kick, I think, or a corner, but Ben White's not going to be there for that. And that was all Saka all by himself, stepping up and then cutting inside and putting the cross in, right? If Havertz is there, which you've seen a lot of times in the first half, we saw a lot of that. Havertz with the ball, and they're making really quick passes getting in, and you got Saka gets inside, I think, and that was through Havertz and Erdegaard on that side, doing one-touch passing. So, yeah, he needs a lot more of that, but like he needs a higher percentage of creation there in terms of what expected, assists he's going to get, or he just shoots it. Yeah, or he just shoots it.
That's why I've never been a fan of a 4-1-2-3, because you don't have your attacking midfielder in the middle up high. Instead, he's on the right, just in between being up in the box or being back, being a.
Because then that means you're not utilizing. Once again, I guess you're saying you're not utilizing the players, right? And the positions to what they're good. Like you got Erdegaard, you're not going to play him like KDB. That doesn't make any sense to me. All right, that's what you're saying.
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
So we've got a future KDB, but we're playing him like some, defensive midfielder or holding midfielder. Yeah. Adios to Nketiah. Yeah, it sounds like he's about. It sounds like he's going to be gone soon.
So you got on Saturday, Havertz got a goal and an assist.
Yes.
That's what I was saying. Like you talked. So the thing with Odegaard, like, does he play like an attacking midfielder? I'm gonna say no. He plays more like a box to box, but at the same time, he is kind of expected to help create stuff. If that makes sense. So
he's the pass
I don't
before
think
the pass.
He's
the pass before the pass.
I think so. Because last year 10 assists. And that's why with Havertz dropping in kind of like a false nine, he can do those passes to set up Saka and Martinelli as well. So it's almost like they rely on both of them. I'm at 17 assists from those two guys last year. Obviously, probably the fullbacks, Ben White and Zinchenko, probably responsible for some of the others, and Declan Rice. The system is so weird though, because you don't really have a 10, right? Like you really just have 2 8s and a 6. So it's really a lot of the attacking comes from the sides, trying to utilize space to open up the defense in the back. But Odegaard's been so good for this team. I don't really know what to really think of that XG from Saturday. I didn't notice him a lot. I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing. But he does a lot of good track backing. He helps lead the press. There's a lot of important stuff that he does, right? So,
I enjoy the fact that he presses so well, but I want him to also be. I believe he should be our leading assist creator at the least. Maybe he doesn't get
bare minimum chances created. Yeah.
Yeah, so he should be creating the most chances on our squad because he's got the best. He's best on the ball. I mean, we saw that right in the game. We put the ball around the defender, behind his back around the defender, right? And I can't remember if that was I think it was Saka that made the run, and came in off of that right hand side. Like nobody else in our team can make that pass. All right, so that's why I think he needs to have the ball more. Because he can do that, especially in the with there's a lot of mess around him. Yeah, Brownie joins us. Welcome to the show, Brownie. Yeah.
I just think he does too much backtracking.
We'll get back to that. Yeah. You know what? I didn't think Partey was that bad. I didn't think he was that bad. Because he did on a few attempts do like his half turn thing, but not as much. So I don't know if that's getting into form or that's just the way he's playing now. and what you guys felt about Partey.
Like I said yesterday, I wanted to start him. I don't think he looked
No,
good
but
yesterday.
but he started. So how did he play?
I don't think he looked good.
I mean, his shot was poor. Just
His
standing
shots
right.
are always poor.
Yeah, yeah. But it was a shot that he takes most of the time, right off the post there. He's usually able to put it in. Lost the ball 6 times, and I didn't look at the stats until now. And that one where he I think he headed it right, basically into a quick counter. Right, not good. Not good for somebody we feel can hold the ball up and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see if he plays next week. I don't know. Well, I guess he will play next week because we have a week in between, but we'll see.
Hey, Gary, can I go back to Odegaard for 1 second, if you don't mind?
You can go back, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I'm looking at the stats from Saturday. So he had the most progressive passes on the team, which is basically a completed pass that moves the ball towards the opponent's goal line at least 10 yards from the furthest point. So he's, 3 progressive carries. So he is pretty important in the buildup, right? Like he's that linchpin, and Partey's part of that linchpin as well, right? Because it's part of where the pass goes from the back line headed up to the front line. I don't know if I feel like he was completely horrific on Saturday. Partey, he did look a little like he has looked less confident. Did you notice that he doesn't feel as confident on the ball like he used to be like a year
Yeah.
and a half ago? Something does feel a little different. Maybe that could be age, injury, whatever it is, and he's fighting through something. But he doesn't look the same Thomas Partey that we used to rely on. He's not a
Maybe
liability, but go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
he's 31 in that position. That's pretty old. That you're past your peak there. He's asked to do a lot, like you said, but he always did progression, and it gets harder to do with old age or legs aren't as fast. So we need to start looking for the replacements for these guys. Jorginho's old, Mourinho's the old quickly. So
Yeah.
we definitely need a Partey replacement. Guess that will be next year.
Unless Mourinho ends up being that guy, right? Because he can play 8 or
Yeah.
6, right?
Yeah, like I said, though, he's 28 already, so.
Right. Yeah. The age profile is not very good for him either. Has Charlie Patino left on loan yet, or what's the deal with
I
Charlie?
haven't heard his name in any kind of to him staying or going or anything like that.
I don't think he made the tour of the U.S. I don't think he was on that.
No. Let's we've got a question here, and then we'll jump ahead to some of these comments. But yes, Tony, who do you want to see step up this year?
Well, I almost want to say Odegaard since he didn't have the goals or he had the goals last year. I want to see him be more in the attacking part of it.
Yeah, I don't. He can't. He needs to be back up there, as you say, creating for us, right? So that's yeah. And Spencer, who you got?
So for me, it's Martinelli. I think that's pretty much the one I want to see. I want to see him take that next step when he attacks. He does a lot of stuff really good, but I think if he can get those goals open up like that, if we can repeat 2022, the 15 goals, I mean, that's 9 more goals. What does that do for us as far as winning the league or not, right? So that's probably the one. And Yex just said that here's another one. Jesus, not really just so much his output, but his availability. Let me see you be reliable for about 34 games in the Premier League season. Be available. So those would be the two I would say: Jesus and Martinelli.
I hear that.
I don't know if he'll be able to do that or not. Getting more rest, not without the starts, they can give you the 34 games or not. Should
Yeah.
be able to, but he's never been able to really get past the 25 game mark.
Yeah. No, I hear you on Martinelli, but I feel like the person that can do it more likely is Erdogan. So I kind of felt like he needs to do more than he did last year as far as like I should be able to see the results of his improvement. You know what I mean? Like we're a higher scoring team, you know, and maybe Martinelli will come along for the ride with that because he'll get more balls and better chances coming from a pass from Erdogan. So yeah, yeah, this is about Erdogan. I think last year he could have had 20 assists probably in the last 2 seasons, but he just didn't have people finishing. So yeah, and oh, there you go. What do you think, Tony? I've been asking Tony. Look who joined us out of nowhere. Why not has joined us, folks. Arteta out. Yes. Edu out. Yep, he's alive. I saw him today. I went into a chat and he was there. I said hi to him. So he's around.
He's like, oh, Gary has a show. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. He's trying to come here and share his thoughts with us. Before I forget, there was a question here. Spencer, how you feel about Rice at 8?
I like him at the 8 because Jorginho Partey can rotate at the 6. If you need to do a double pivot, do a double pivot, and you could run Rice back at the 6. But I like Rice as the 8 because I think he wants to play very progressive, and I think he's got the directness to play the 8 position. He can do the box to box, still come back, help out in defense, push him up front. Kind of almost do like Xhaka did, right? That's what I think. But he can play. I mean, either way is good for him. But I would love to see him as the 8 because then that answers that question.
I think he looks a lot better attacking. Last year he had 7 goals, so if you have him attacking even more goals, he expect.
Yeah, but we don't have maybe until Moreno comes in, he's going to take over that spot, right? So he's going to go back anyways when Moreno plays. I believe Moreno plays the 8, right? And Rice will play more of a central defender.
I hate having the central defender when you got four good defenders like we do.
Yeah, but nobody in front of them isn't a good sign, Tony. We know this. Because remember when Xhaka played in front of our defense? Do you remember that?
Yep.
Was it good?
Wow.
Was it fun times?
That was Xhaka. Xhaka.
Yeah, but you don't say here's a good strong back line and then I'm gonna let people run at you. I mean, if Rice is sitting in front of that line, not much is going through, right? And if it is, they're under pressure as it is. So that's kind of how I look at it. No?
To me, I guess I'm just set in the old ways. I like.
Yeah.
Did I do that? Do a 4-3-3? Like I said, I never liked the 4-2-3.
If I'm being harsh, you put Sambi in front of our back line, you happy?
Yeah. There's a difference between the players.
Yeah, but that's what you're saying when you're saying let's take a step back and not put Rice there. All right.
You have four good defenders. You got to leave.
No, but who plays in front of them?
Yeah,
That's like saying I have the world's best goalkeeper, but I don't need good players in front of them. We know that's not true.
Well, without the ball, Rice should be dropping back in the spot.
But you want a Rice doing that, right? You don't want somebody else.
You can still attack, Gary.
We're talking about defense, though, right?
He can drop back there when needed, but I don't think he's needed there all the time.
I think he is because I think I think he is, but that's me. And that's me. Why not says Salu, DWTT Nation Evening Panel, the Bronco, and my compatriot Tony. There you go. Your name's all in caps. See, there you go.
Yeah.
It's all capitalized. Man loves you.
What happened?
Yeah, it happens, isn't this guy? Yeah, you know what? We put ourselves in a really good position. We need to take advantage and basically keep Chelsea and Manchester United where they are. Yeah, yeah. I think we'll get to see what Timber can do. I think, we have now we can have a decent rotation on the back line now. Decent rotation. I mean, we're going to have to be able to pull Saliba and Gabriel and Ben White off the pitch sometimes. Just so, because I think we need to go deep in a lot of tournaments, and we can't do that if they have to play every game, especially in the Premier League, which has most of the games. So
I'll tell you a question. Who's be your fullbacks? Because you're probably gonna move White in as one of your.
you're gonna have who?
So White will probably be one of your center backs if you pulling off Saliba or Gabriel.
Yeah, or Calafiori could play center back, right?
All the defense can play center back.
Yeah. So then White may not have to move. Right. For me, why would you if you can put in somebody? I think you can put. I don't know White at center back how good that is compared to Tomiyasu and Calafiori at this point because he hasn't played it in a while. So I don't know if we lose a lot by. I think we lose more if we take him out of his starting position and put him in center back. I think that's kind of what I feel.
Yeah, I'm just not sure who's gonna be your fullbacks if you move.
Yeah,
those
we got
guys
more
in.
than enough, right? On the right side, Timber can play there. We know he's strong there. Tomiyasu could play there. Tomiyasu can play any one of the fullbacks. So we've got at least 2 to 3 players behind our fullbacks as is right now, right? Our center backs, as we said, we've got at least 4 players that can play center back. So we've got some depth there. And if Kiriori doesn't leave, then we've got a 5th player.
Don't forget KT. He's still here too.
Yeah, I don't know we've got to figure out who's in our 25. I don't know if KT's part of our 25.
Probably not at this point.
Yeah.
He would probably make 29 for the year.
Why not once Tony? You guys, any guys here want Tony? I'll tell you why he's not coming. He wants to get paid, and he won't be he can't come to Arsenal and be our top weekly
Have
salary
fun playing
meter.
in the desert.
I got a name for everybody.
Yeah. So you guys say no to Tony, or you
No,
take Tony?
I'm saying I still think Tony wins you the league. But if he wants that much money, he's gonna be stuck in the desert. So have fun in the desert.
Spencer?
It would have to be at the right deal, and there would have to be clauses in there. The price tag would have to. I mean, the risk for what they would want to get paid. It would be very hard to make that deal worth its while. He's a player that could absolutely help this team out, though. Tony's not wrong on that at all. But the risk and the amount of money he's going to want, I don't know, man. It would have to be 30 million and then 150 a week with a clause saying, hey, if you hit X, Y, and Z, you get an acceleration to this. But if you get caught gambling, this contract's null and void.
Yeah. No, I get that. I don't, it doesn't seem like he is hopefully gone back to his old ways. Let's see. We'll get to your question. Now, hold on to that question there. Oh, this is the possession. Yeah, midfield is we need Ruiz and Ogate. I don't know. Sounds like he's going to Manchester. Ruiz. I don't know which Ruiz what you're talking about. Which one that is? not sure of that guy. Yep, Sambi is. Yeah, I guess that's a joke. Timber at 6. I never. Is that actually a place where he can play?
He's a defender. He should be able to.
Well, just because you're a defender doesn't mean you can play every defensive position.
Kivior can play that position.
Yeah, but we're talking about Timber.
I think Timber probably could, from what we've seen from him.
I mean, he's never played it. He's never played in midfield. Played across the back line. Still think he can play 6?
I think he can do it.
I think he can too.
Yeah, definitely has the yeah. He's definitely more mobile than Partey. So if he stays on the ball too long, we're in trouble. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that's still open. I mean, I've heard midfield is another place we might go, but I've heard attacking as well. So you think Timber at 6 square peg round hole? I don't. I think Timber is a footballer. That's kind of like Saka. Who came in as what? The left back. I think that's how he got in, and he's not. He's a right winger. So I think football is football. I get that. I just, like I said, I hadn't seen him. He hasn't played it at all. Yeah. Coach who takes a chance. KT is no worse or more injury prone than. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think you're as a play. KT is more injury prone than, as far as I'm concerned, I feel, than Zinchenko.
They're about the same, Gary. Like I said, only time he got over, I think actually over 22 was his first year in Russia.
Yeah. Well, I guess Arteta didn't like him as much. Yeah. Yeah. No,
I think Tierney's probably just the buildup of it. Injuries, he probably doesn't have the pace and stuff that he used to have.
Yeah, he's had some very devastating injuries too, the knee injuries. They're just unlucky, honestly.
Yeah.
Kieran Tierney was such a good player, but very unlucky when it came to his injury history. And
I think then the way Arteta uses certain players sometimes doesn't even allow them to. Maybe they are just a squad player for you, right? Maybe they are just a squad player for you. Like I'd rather have Tierney playing minutes of what's his name? Who was here? Who was here? Who played left back for us? Oh my gosh, I forgot his name already. He just left. Come on, guys.
Cedric?
Cedric, yes. Cedric, yes. Yeah. He could have played there. So the minutes that Cedric got, if that was Tierney, I'd feel much better about it. Let's just say that. So I know they got rid of Tierney because he probably wanted to play more, but his body says no. Yeah, no, Eddie and Reese getting the salaries they got probably is a hindrance now. Arsenal paying players more money because of their value and all that stuff and keeping them when the chances of them playing were slim, for me, is not good business. Yeah, we got a question here for Spencer from Lonzo. What do you mean when you said go back and watch? What? Oh boy. All right, should have read that one.
I can answer if he wants me to.
Lonzo, keep that stuff in house, will you? I told you, dude. This is not the forum for that. You guys should have a one-to-one if you want to ask questions. All right. Can Zinchenko play 6? That right there's a negative for me.
That is a F no.
At most, he can play an 8. At most, an 8, but we're not putting Zinchenko at 6. No.
Yeah.
He would never stay in his position.
No. He's supposed to, what is a 6 supposed to do for us? What's the main thing he's supposed to do?
Should learn to defend.
Yeah.
Defend.
What is the
Defend,
last thing
Barry.
Zinchenko can do?
Defend.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Bargav, yeah. No, that's not where we want him when we want him in midfield. Not playing as a 6. Okay, here you go. If it was a double pivot with the healthiest of healthy Partes, would you still play? Would you do that?
No.
Like if Partey was like Superman, would you
Nope.
not do it? You still wouldn't do it?
Hey, it
Oh,
doesn't matter how much weed or beer I would have. I would still say no.
so yeah, it sounds like Zinchenko to 6 is no. I think more we want him at an 8. In that kind of holding
You
midfielder
just
role.
see giant stop sign just shoot up at you. It's just
Yeah, yeah,
and traffic lights at the same time. It's a thing. Nope, nope. Red light, red light. Stop
yeah,
sign.
yeah,
No will.
yeah. Oh, Fabian Ruiz. Yes, I heard that name. Yeah, I would take him if that's what Arsenal wanted. Tony sounds like it sounds like Tony and Arteta did have a chat and it didn't go so well. So I think when you're having a chat with a player and it doesn't work out, it doesn't go so well, I think it's probably not a good sign. But the incentives on the contract, the morality clause or whatever they call those things, where you know what, you don't you do what you're supposed to do and you'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
So
I just think what problems there is probably Arteta sees
yeah,
those as discipline issues, even though it's not on the pitch. He doesn't like
yeah,
people that lack discipline, so
sure.
probably the issue.
Yeah, I don't like this deal. I say 25 plus 25 in add-ons, and then Eddie. That's what I would do. Because if he gets the add-ons, that means we're having a good year. That's what I would do.
25 and add-ons. Yeah, 25 add-ons, fine.
That's the whole
Like I
thing,
said,
though. Go ahead, Tony. Sorry. Go ahead.
you got the 35 million for Smith Rowe. Like Spencer said last week, would you be happy with 60 million between the two of them? That's the way I've been looking at it the whole time. Before Spencer mentioned it, that's what I see.
They didn't want to do that, right? Because they got about 34 or so for Emil Sufro, and then they were going to get about 27 or so for Eddie and Kedia, and they didn't want to do it, or it didn't work out. So, but no, that's how I would do that. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like he's going to Saudi. They might pay his salary, but I don't even think they would want to pay him that salary either. I mean, he's
Doesn't
not
want him.
he doesn't like, well, once again, like all the things that he's done don't really fit into the lifestyle that's required when you go to Saudi Arabia. I think, so like depending on what they're looking at, yeah.
I mean, he's not Cristiano Ronaldo, where they'll allow him to do certain things that aren't allowed in their laws. So,
Yeah.
I mean, would you be like, we're going to go to I pick a club's name and go watch Tony play? I don't think that's a big draw, as you would say Cristiano or, even Mo Salah at this point. I'm surprised Mo didn't make a move over there, right? But the Tony one is so interesting because it's a finished product, right? You can argue whether he's a penalty merchant or not, but I mean, I'm with you, Tony. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he would help us more than hurt us. But at the same time, there's such a, I mean, and this is the thing. Like, look at the shirt sponsor. Ryan did a video with Sam and Tom, and they did a kit ranking. How many of those kits had gambling sponsors on them, right? So football is making money off of gambling. I know that a player gambling on stuff is completely separate and another morality issue on top of that, but the whole thing kind of stinks like rotten cheese. But at the same time, you
I thought
can't
they were
pay 80
supposed to
million for a
start
guy.
cutting back on those.
They're supposed to be. I think that was the rumor that they were saying that this is going to be one of the last few seasons they can do that. But needless to say, you can't pay 80 million for a guy that just spent 8 months out of football for gambling. You just can't do it. Now he's under, I think, club control till 2025 ish. So I don't think the amount they can get is the same. I think, you know, this is going to sound horrible, but there's like Eddie, like it's crazy not to think you get the same money for Eddie as you would for Tony based on the risk that you're going to take on by taking Tony with the history there, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He'll probably be one of those guys the last 2 days of the window before.
Yeah. Yeah, why
See
not?
if
I
there's
see your
anybody
comment
in
there.
Europe
I'm
goes
not
one.
putting it up. Why not? But like, because I think we don't know. We don't know. There's a lot of hearsay on a lot of that stuff. So I just don't think the way that Arteta and them work, that if there was any kind of issues like that, they would hold on to the player. I just kind of feel like they've shown that they are okay to let players go when they do things that aren't across board, right? So
Yep.
I kind of feel like if that's the case with
Like what we
Partey, he
said,
wouldn't be here.
like what we seen yesterday in our game. You seen what choking,
Yeah.
and then us Guendouzi did the choking,
Yeah.
and Arteta never played him
Yeah.
again.
Well, I know some people who would not be too, they wouldn't feel like we gained anything with Tony. One, I feel like because Tony isn't better than Havertz, but if you're not even spending the same monies, you're not expecting the same things from him, right? Like if Tony it was worth 67 mil or whatever it costs for Havertz, then but if he's worth 40 and he offers you something different, and he definitely brings up the floor, he's definitely closer to Havertz than Nketiah is. I don't know.
So my thing with this, so we don't really need a 90-minute striker, in my opinion. We need somebody that comes in like a Giroud when you need that goal in the 80th minute when all the other question marks you've thrown answers at can't get you that answer. That's what I think we need. I mean, how many times last year we talked about looking at that bench and like, who the heck's going to be the goal today if these guys don't hit the wicket?
I had a
That's
name for that. I had a player's name for that. Now, whether that was Tony or not, I don't know. But I had a player for that exact position role on this squad who can score out of nowhere and doesn't need to start. Oh man,
I
I
got
forget.
another player too, but I'm going to get laughed at when I say
I
the
don't
name.
know what the name is now, but I mean, personally, the fact that Gundogan is available, I think Arteta should have been on the phone already. If we're looking for somebody who probably can come in and do some, timely scoring for us,
It's not a bad shout. It's really not.
but he's not, he's not a striker. But yeah, no, I think Tony coming in could do that because we know he's good in the air. He's probably, for me, he's probably a lot stronger than the air than Havertz is. I think he's a more powerful striker in the middle.
Okay, the name I'm going to throw out, Gary. I'm going to get laughed at in this chat room. Whatever. Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
I'd rather have Tony. I'd rather pay for Tony than for Donovan Calvin. Especially, I think they would be the same monies. Tony, if you had to bring in a striker, and maybe he doesn't have to start. Calvin
Yep.
Lewin, Tony, somebody
Yeah,
else.
yeah. It would be Tony. It'd be my name with a me.
Yeah.
And those two are, you're not wrong, Tony, and Gary, to pick Tony over him. I don't think you're wrong. I'm looking at it more of a role player, guy that can get up, get you a ball. You're going to have a lot of possession. A guy that a cross comes in, you can hit it in. Apparently, he won't sign the deal with Everton. From the guy I know is an Everton fan, he won't sign it. He wants more than 125K a week.
We'll give him 126. Come on.
I think DCL would be a better option than Nketiah if that's the argument we're
Well,
going to have.
anybody we're bringing in will be better than Nketiah. It's harsh. I know I'm harsh, but anybody would be. Yeah.
Well, we've reached levels to this, right, Gary? We talk about levels all the time.
Yeah.
He's not exceeded the level we need to. We need someone that's going to exceed that.
Yeah.
And Calvert Lewin, I just think it's if your issue is money and you could bring in a guy, it might cost you 25-30 million.
Yeah.
If you can get him in for 150 a week, put a goal bonus on there. I know he's had injury issues, but he's had a couple 16
But
goal seasons. 19
you know
and
that's
20
the
was
good
a good
that's the
year.
good part. We don't need, and like if we don't need him to start, because we know Havertz pretty much will play all the time, right? And then once in a while Jesus will start, or he can start. You kind of got it good. I think this Haji Wright thing is like, I'd rather take the Gyökeres that left Coventry than bringing a Haji Wright. Haji Wright is further down the line in terms of like where he is in his game. You know what I mean? I'd rather spend them extra money and get Gyökeres.
Well, DCL is a rental anyway, if we're honest, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a rental.
Yeah.
He's 27
Yeah.
years old. But so is Tony. But
Yeah,
again, like,
Tony.
look, baseball teams make these gambles all the time. They bring in a guy that's in their mid-30s. I need an extra bat to come in as my DH. Let's go win a World Series. If we win the World Series, the gamble's worth the risk. So
Yeah.
that's what you got to think about here. You got to look at, like you said, if you want to put these teams away, and that's the goal, get up 2 or 3, 4-0 first half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to take their gamble.
Yeah, and like I said, why not? This is the same thing. Tony, I think, is a much stronger, dominating forward. So that's the difference between him and Havertz for me. Havertz will get, I think, knocked off the ball. He's usually placed really well in the box, so he usually has space before any of that happens. But I feel like that's the difference.
Kai needs to hit the gym.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But to me, any of those players, you still got the Champions League. You got the 2 domestic cups.
Yeah, but for me,
so you don't need.
no, we're not.
more.
No.
I know.
Those aren't where you're playing them as much. Think
I
about
know
it.
that. And that's where you're playing Jesus, and we're playing Havertz more as the
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah. I like I said, I feel like we need to get players that can come into the Premier League and take away minutes there, as much as we do in the other ones. But they need to be better than what we've had. So, yep, 3 players should have left. Yeah, well, and Partey, I can see why he's not going. Nobody wants to pay for him. Yeah, I get you. Why not on this one? Yeah, that guy from Villa, not Watkins, but the other, Morata. Is Morata the guy from? Did he play for what team? Other team did he play for? I don't. If that's the guy I'm thinking of, I'd say I'd rather do the other choices we've had so far.
I think that would have to be a different Morata.
Yeah.
The only problem is if you go outside and violate PSR rules, what's the punishment? I mean, 115 charge FC hasn't been punished yet, so maybe why not? It's right. Who cares? Spend the money.
Yeah, but okay, that's the thing. Anybody believe that if Arsenal went out there and broke the PSR rules, that they wouldn't get punished immediately? That's the problem with this whole thing. You do it once, they punish you immediately.
I just don't have the answer.
You do it. You find a loophole and you go crazy with it. They don't do anything, especially if you win because of it. By the time when you start winning, they don't want to taint that, right? Think about how that looks. Think about how that looks, and that's why I don't think anything's going to happen. You're the team that's dominated pretty much world football to some degree, right? Now is basically all that stuff. None of it didn't really happen. It was all fake. It was all they cheated to get there. So now the league looks tainted, right? Right. All those trophies mean nothing.
I just wonder if we're still under the watch list or not.
I think so, based on the fact that we don't sell well. I mean, if you look at our transfer mart, like some company, there's the income and the expenses. We're always in the red. Last year, especially, We're well over 100 mil. Like when you count how much we sold and what we spent. Right, we spent about 200.
Yeah, there's been four, maybe 5 players at this point that we've sold for a profit since 2012.
We might sell 3 for some monies this year. If Ramsdale and Nketiah are sold, we know Sambi will be on the books next year, supposedly, if he can do a job there. That's why I don't like these options. They should.
So that's what I was saying yesterday. Is like I'm so tired of these just loan. Then you finally.
Murata is. Oh, he played. Oh no, I don't want that guy. He's not clinical, and I think that's one thing we're missing. Like we don't need another player who can't hit shots and be clinical with them. He's a volume shooter. He'll need lots of opportunities.
The other problem you got, Gary, is Solanke went for 62 million. Solanke's a good striker, but is he better than Tony? Because if he's not, and let's say Brentford values him higher than Solanke, then Brentford's going to want 62 million. Now, obviously, the argument's going to be like, oh well, this guy went for this, and yeah, we know there's a gambling issue, blah 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 blah. But how do you convince Brentford? Because Brentford's also probably looking like Wolves right now, in my opinion. This okay, this is a critical season. Do we avoid the drop, right? Because eventually you sell players and you replace talent. That becomes a problem. Brighton's been very good at that and has been able to stay up, but Brentford's going to want to get enough money to reinvest into their squad. And the closer we get to this window closing, that's why Tony to me feels like a January move for somebody. That's one of those like desperation moves in January. That's why I also feel like Ramsdale.
Well, that's why we should have done it last year.
we can always sweet. We can always sweet talk him. Here's Eddie for Tony.
We could always say pretty please and make him some cookies.
Yeah, they could do with a striker. Give us Tony. You get Nketiah. Supposedly who works hard in practice, right? Yeah.
I like how you don't believe it.
Well, I just don't. It doesn't translate. I always say you practice the way you play, but he supposedly practices really well, and then he doesn't play the same way as I thought he would if he was practicing that well.
He just
Tony's our second best striker in England, right? So how is that? And he's not good enough to even get on a team. Like they don't. Brentford doesn't even want him.
I remember last year I was looking, and I think we discussed it. I can't remember if it's here on Ray on a Thursday, but it ended up being Watkins because he was the one that all 29 goals, none of them were a penalty.
Yeah, well,
I would put Watkins over Tony.
Yeah, but you know what? That's the thing. We always a day late. Like when we could have probably gotten Watkins probably 2 years ago, right? Before his, the season he just had. That's probably we always wait till after the fact. You like if you do your scouting right, you actually want to buy somebody trending upwards, not when they may have peaked. Right? You buy them when they peaked, then most of the time, guess what? I don't think you get top monies for it. You don't get a good value for them anymore. Value's gone. The value that you would have gotten is gone now.
That's kind of why Tony's at a low price.
He's trending downwards, right? Yeah.
But you still know what you're gonna get with him. You would probably get 20 plus goals with him.
I don't know if you get 20 plus goals if he starts.
I think in our team he would.
I don't know if he'll be able to start for us. Do you think he'll be able to start for us?
I think he would.
No. Yeah, I don't know in Arteta's scheme if he would start for us. So we are at 90 minutes. This went really fast. I don't even think we even really got to much of the news.
We didn't really talk about the game or news today or nothing.
We didn't talk about the game much. We did talk about the game somewhat in and out. We kind of jumped from players to the game to players to the game. I don't know. As we head out of here, we'll talk about the game real quick here. As far as who stood out for you guys, I believe that Sacker, Havertz, and Raya were our top players, and you can pick any one of them for player of the
David
game.
Raya. Oh yeah, David Raya was. I mean, those saves.
I had a hard time picking yesterday because it's like Saka's goal still that and Raya's 2 goals. 2 saves definitely saved the day. I was kind of more leaning towards Raya, but I ended up picking Saka.
Just go
So
2
today I
hours.
could
Can you
I
guys
could
go?
go.
Can you guys go longer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
That's
that's
it.
fine. That's
All
to
right.
get the
Well,
bathroom real quick.
we'll probably be talking this stuff
Grab.
in the back room anyway, so we can get it out. Case B, title is lost. We're going to look at the decision to not sign. I'll tell you this. I don't believe we're not signing anyone. I just don't think anybody likes everybody. I just don't think anybody likes how long it's taken. I believe we're going to bring in 2 more players. At least that's what my sources say. So we know Moreno's coming in, and I think another player at the least will come in. And as you've seen today, we'll probably have 2 more players out. Hopefully, both for monies, not like for like. Did you see that for Ramsdale? They won a loan. 2, they want an option to buy, and 3, they want to pay part of his salary.
Well, usually they pay all the salary.
No. That's what they want. No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
They don't want to buy the player. They don't want to be obligated to buy the player, and they don't want to pay his salary.
Yeah.
Now remember, this is the team, right? Sold 2 players for over 100 mil. Right now, they're sitting with 74 mil on their transfer. On their plus minus for this window.
I think we might have to do probably what Ramsdale doesn't want to do and look further in Europe to get rid of me.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. If that's what they want, then I don't think I don't believe Arsenal's going to do that one. No matter whether the player wants to go or not. Yeah, if that was Arsenal, people were saying spend the money.
And there's got to be some team in Germany or Spain that's willing to pay for him.
Yeah, I don't want to save any money this year because one, I feel like we can still go in and get a big player next year. We're not getting a Rice type player this year, right? We're not going out there spending 100 million on a player this year, but we need to improve our depth and quality, right?
Because, like you're saying, 2 more players are going to probably be leaving.
Yeah, and that's the depth that we need that may get us across the line. Yeah, next year, no. I can't see, and we know this, right? We don't want to be the Buffalo Bills of the Premier League, coming second, right? We want to cross the line. We want to win and pick up the trophy at the end. So I feel like we should put all our eggs in a basket. This one, because getting 3 second places and then or falling out is too much. It's too risky.
That's why I said Tony. And like, when did you say? Did you say it Thursday after video or Thursday late in the show that the last 2 seasons we haven't won because we haven't had the out and out striker?
Yeah. When what I definitely said is that when we're looking for a goal, Trossard can't be our only answer. Right now, we don't know if Jesus is that guy because he's not been available.
I remember at that point you're like looking at City and
Looking at who?
think you basically looking at City. You told me to look at City and tell me if they could. I'm pretty sure you said that basically pinnacle striker. You
No, we
We've
definitely
been
need somebody
missing
more.
that.
We need an attacker who's clinical. Now, be it a striker or not. Right now, like if a striker, yes, but if you told me we're gonna bring in a player who's clinical with their shooting, like if we brought in a Gundogan, I think that would be really nice. Yeah. And I can't. There was a player that I was thinking of in the same mold as a Giroud, and I can't think of the player now. It may have been Tony, but I know that that's what we need. We definitely need we need a Giroud. Like think about it, we need a player that it doesn't matter. He's coming on now. You're in trouble. Like we need a Jota. Trossard isn't a Jota
A
just
Bobby
yet.
Firmino.
No, Bobby Firmino started though. We need somebody coming off the bench.
Look where he's at in his career, though.
No, I know, but like when he was winning stuff, he was starting. Like we need somebody
Correct.
who
Correct.
who was coming off the bench, like a Giroud, who we know has done that and come in and started games for France and got them to win World Cups and stuff. With him on the pitch, like that. We need that kind of a guy. That's where I think Southgate went wrong, having Tony and Watkins and Kane all in the squad and not utilizing them. What's the point of that?
Yeah.
What's the point of that? Like how? Like what? Got three of the top, some people say top English strikers on your squad. You don't utilize them when the number one striker is struggling.
Kane, you definitely want towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Watkins for the entire game.
Yeah. Well, they've been rebuilding, but they've been able to keep basically their spine, right? They've kept, they kept Rodri, KDB, and Haaland the last 2 seasons, right? We don't have anything like that. That's why we need more numbers.
Not many people do, unfortunately. That's the thing. Like it's even amazing what Liverpool was able to do those years to compete with them, right?
But they had a front line of Mane, Firmino, and Salah, all playing
Correct.
at their
Correct.
top and best that we've seen since then. All right,
but even with that, they only found a way to win one.
Yeah, no, but that's that's because they didn't have the depth, in my eyes.
Correct.
And City had the depth because they could pay tons of money.
Yeah, and how they paid
Lots
the money.
Of monies.
Yeah. Yes, of course. I don't know how to say that. On a fan base, happy to accept anything at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not accepting of anything, but at some point, it's too late. They're not going to make that change, right? So I can't go. This is my fandom. I want them to bring in a certain player. They don't bring him in. The season is not lost yet for me. We could still get it done. You know what I mean? Like that same player could come in and be injured after 45 minutes, like Timber was, and what do you say then? The season's over? No, you say you still got a chance, right? So for me, I get it. The disappointment sucks. But when the game's played, then guess what? If you take everything one game at a time, you don't have to worry about what happens tomorrow or what happened last week because you only care about what's happening right now. It's a mentality thing, man. You played one game in front of you.
Has the team done one move this summer that makes you think, oh, they're doing this because they want to win the title?
Well, if Calafiori is who we think he is, then yeah, because if he's going to be our starting left back, then yes. If he's going to back up our center backs, then yes. Because are we going to guarantee that our center back pairing will play -2 games? They won't play 2 games in the Premier League. That's how many games they did not play, right? No, we're going to expect them to. We're not. Hopefully, we are lucky to have them do that, but. So they're making sure that where we are strong, we're just going to back that up, and they've done that.
Yeah, but I don't think he's that much of a step up from Kiwior.
I think Calafiori is much better than Kiwior. Much better. More experience. He's played more games at. Pick one, left center back or left back. He's played more games.
28 years old. What,
Well,
2 years
like I
old,
said,
3
he's
years
better.
older.
Better is better. All right, doesn't matter the age. All right, Salah is one of the oldest attackers in the league. He's still the best. Yeah, one of the best. Some would say the best. All right.
Yeah, and he's
Take what
22
you
years
measure.
old. Calafiore is.
Yeah.
So
So he's still got to work on his game. Like
yeah,
the trajectory of him is much better than Kirior. Right. He doesn't have to start for us, and Kirior, will lose minutes because of it. So maybe they've gotten better.
I,
They've
I've
gotten
never
better.
seen Calafiore play. If I'm honest, I don't really watch the
Yeah.
Italian league, so I can't debate you on it, Gary. So I'm gonna take your word for it.
Okay. I'm just going by what I've heard that people
Fair
have
enough.
seen him.
I
Right.
just
So
I
mine's
just never watched him
mine's
play.
more hearsay, and based on what I saw in the game, I liked what I saw in the game more than what I saw from Calafiore. I saw him take the ball off of the defender. I did see him kind of do a timber where he kind of did a little too much and lost the ball, right? But I don't know if that's they're gonna calm him down a little. That might be because it's his first game, you know. But I did see some good things from him that I don't necessarily think I saw from Courier. So, you know,
I just
different
to me,
situation
you
for
got
him.
with
Yeah,
having KVR and Timber, I wouldn't have been looking that much at the left back. Midfield and attack has too many holes.
yeah, yeah. I don't know about you, Bargat, but I'm not sitting there going, "We're fine. We don't have to make any changes." I've said in the past we need 10 players, and this is probably the first time in a while. Is that we don't need 10. We could do with 4 or 5, but they have to be the right players, all right? And one of them might be in Wary, one of them might be Skelly, one of them might be Heaven, all right? So it might be even
How awesome would it be
previous.
if you hit on those three, though? How
Yeah,
awesome!
yeah,
I think you're going to hit on one.
yeah,
But God, that'd be great. I mean, that would give because I know the academy's getting a little stick here about hey, who you're developing and a couple people going out the door. But if you get those three players or even two of the three to hit, man,
yeah. Because
costs
they're
you
gonna
nothing.
they're gonna go back and forth between the academy and the premier and the first team, right? So that would be good for them to keep them fresh, but then get them minutes in some of the games where we can rest our starters. Like there'll be games where we don't even put them on the bench, right? We're gonna need to be able to do that.
I'll tell you the differences here, in my opinion, Gary, that we really need
Yeah,
to do is take care of the teams that are 13th in the league. So the top six, obviously, any team that's ranked 7th to 20th, take care of those teams. The 1 year Man United finished second. I think it was 20, maybe could have been COVID. I don't know. They were like pretty much spotless against position 7 to 20th. So, if we can do that, then that would because I think that was our big issue last year. We fumbled up during the Christmas period, right? We had a couple of games we lost there, and of course, where we started in the beginning of the season, dropping to Fulham. Uh, there's another game in the beginning of the season where I think we dropped points we shouldn't have. But if that's these games that we should win those games,
yeah.
and then Bargath here, I want to address this. And you are right about saying that what's the word I'm looking for? The urgency. We have to be smart about who we buy too. Um, like I said, if Tony didn't have the gambling history, I would be all in on that. Wouldn't even think about it. But it's such a risk. I, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the club wants to take that risk, right? So, and he's right. Why can't we smash their record? Why not? Dream big.
Honey, you got some thoughts or?
No, I agree with Spencer. To me, I would go against. I wouldn't care about the charges. Tony's that get you the goals you need. Hopefully, hopefully we integrate the academy. It's nice. Last year, you seen all these players on the team sheet, but they never made it into the Premier League. Barely any of them made it into the cup games. But at some point, you gotta start playing them. I would have played them already. Because look at, well, what do you have to lose? Because the last 2 years you've went out of the domestic cups the fastest Arsenal ever has. So if you're trying to develop them, which you need to do, get them games. And the FA gets them against the good players in the Premier League. So go ahead and play them.
Yeah. Here's why I think we faltered late in the year. One, I believe, because if you remember, right after we lost to Liverpool, we got the 2 weeks off and we went to Dubai, went to wherever, and then took a break and then came back refreshed. I feel like Arteta had them looking forward to getting away from football, because we lost 3 games straight, then went on a 2 week break, and then we only lost after that 3 times. One against Porto, which we were able to come back from, and then that Villa
Bayern
game, which
Munich.
killed us, right? And then Bayern Munich. So really tough games at that point, and I believe that was some of that is coaching where we lost some of those more than it was we didn't have the players. But I feel like those 3 games in a row going into the new year, I believe we were looking at getting away for vacation as opposed to finishing strong. And you got to play every game like it's the last one. And I don't think we did that. We didn't look like, especially against Liverpool. There's no way you should lose 2-0 to academy kids coming in late in the game.
Oh, and that game is horrific because there was opportunities in that game. Nelson had a ball drop right in front of him in the first half. They didn't put their opportunities away, being clinical. You can even go back to that West Ham game, and I think it's on that Wednesday, because the Fulham game, I believe, was Boxing Day. I could be wrong. Chat room correct me. But you had like 82 touches in the opponent's box, which is a Premier League record apparently, and you couldn't get a goal. You lost 2-0 to West Ham. And then, on the flip side, the Fulham game just was horrific. I think it was one of the worst games all year, the 2-1 defeat to Fulham.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Christmas period, our festive fixture period, you're gonna have to manage that this year. That's why I wouldn't send a guy like Nawari on loan. I think you have to keep either Nelson or Nketiah, so send Nketiah packing, right? That would be my preference, to send Eddie on the way
I
out.
wouldn't keep Nelson if you're not going to play him. So that's the thing.
Well, my point is you're going to have to find a way to integrate him.
If you're not going to play him, he has to go. I don't care whether or not you like he has to go. Like, based on what he did last season, I think he has to go. If you're going to change your ways,
right?
cool.
And I'm projecting as a what if. We're also talking about a longer cup run. Maybe in the League Cup you get a better draw, right? So you can go beat like an Oxford United. I'm just using it as an example. Don't mean me or anything, but some, as opposed to West Ham, who's going out there and putting their first teamers out there, right? So maybe you get a luck of a draw in an FA Cup. Maybe your third round game is against someone that's a little bit easier. I don't know, like some things, but you have to operate differently. You have to start, and I think we saw the first piece of that on Saturday, Gary, with him taking Saka off only up 2-0. Because last year he's not taking him off. There's no way at 2-0 he's taking him off, period, unless he's over there limping.
And that's the problem. He needs to be able to give other players confidence
Yes.
that they can come in and do that. Or else what's the point of having them? So, and he's going to do that with a Jesus and a Trossard coming off the bench. He's not going to do that with an Nketiah or a Nelson. So that's where we are, because we're deeper and stuff. That's why that works. Yeah, our next 2 games are Villa and Brighton. I don't know if North London United gathering, if that's considered Brighton, but yeah. Then we have a 2-week break, so before the big road games. Yeah.
I mean, I'm confident about this Saturday at Villa. I know some people may not be. Maybe some people are thinking about what happened last year, but they brought in 9 players, I think is what I was reading somewhere. Diaby's gone. Why be scared of them? Let's go have a go. Let's
There's
right
no
the wrongs
team.
last
There's
year.
no team that's gotten better potentially than us. like where we are now, like what team has brought in players where you went, they could be better than us potentially. The only one would be Chelsea, and we know that they're not even structured well enough to do something like that.
Well, the premise of your question is who's brought players in that'd be better to us. So basically, you're already putting us at this level. That's the premise of the question. Because if you premise that, people are like, oh, well, this guy's brought in this team, and yeah, but they're base 11 right now versus Arsenal's base 11, based on the transfers they brought in. The answer you said is basically spot on. I don't think Citi's bought a single player on, and you can even argue
No,
they're hurt.
that Salvo player actually looked pretty. He started for them
Salvo?
in the first game.
Okay, all right.
So he started for them in the first game. I think, like, they think of him a little bit. So,
But they lost Alvarez. They sold him off. Oscar Bob got hurt. So,
you shouldn't be terrified of us. You know what you're gonna get. And on a good, like, until we need to be consistent with certain things. We know defensively we're gonna be sound. Offensively, we need to be better. Right, Tony?
Yep, and going against Villa, it boils down to coaching. Because last year, I can remember it was the first or second game. It was the substitutions that Emery made that changed the game. Usually, those teams start off good. You seen him when he was with us. First 28 games, no losses. He's beat Arteta 4 out of 5 tries. So
Yeah.
it's a game that, to me, we gotta play a lot better than we did this week to be able to.
I mean, outside of Ollie Watkins, I look at the names and none of them really concern me. They shouldn't concern us, but they did, right? John McGinn. I mean, he shouldn't concern us, but he did. All right. Leon Bailey, he can, coming off that right side, that's on the left side, right? So we need somebody
get
defensively.
Ramsey as well. Ramsey's a good player.
Yeah, I don't know if he starts for them now, but Onana, all right, we got to deal with him. Yuri Tillemans, I don't think that scares us, right? Yeah, Rogers in the middle. I'm not sure that guy is. Yeah, but where are we gonna play him?
In the midfield, where he belongs.
Yeah, but like he's not gonna start. He might not start for us, and then he's not gonna go here.
But that was a year ago. Doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, but but once again, he has to start for us, right? He's starting. Comes to us, he's not gonna want to start. He's not gonna want to sit. Like, is he better than Partey? If Partey's playing and he's playing, who are you picking?
This time I would pick Tillemans.
You would pick Tillemans over Partey if they're both healthy, because Yuri Tillemans isn't always healthy either.
Tillemans plays more of an 8 role anyway, right?
Yeah.
I don't view him as a 6. That Leicester team, indeed, he played the 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think if Partey's healthy, he's ahead of Onana. In my eyes, anyways.
Yeah, I think at this point of their development, yes. If you had this conversation, if Partey was, I don't think that's the same. I don't think the conversation. I don't think the answer is the same next year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it might not be the same by the end of this year, but really and truly, I think that's where we are right now. You're gonna have Partey there. You're gonna play him because you have to play him. What's the point of holding on to him if you're not gonna play him, right? And if he gives you 10 to 15 games in your set, I like to think if he gets us through these first 5 games, we might be set. Think about it. If we get through these first 5 games, for example, reaching here, undefeated first 5 games, and Partey is one of the reasons Partey is available for all of those games, and gets better in each one, right? Because if he gets better from day 1 to game 5, right, which is against City, that's what you would want, right?
You won 15 out of 15 points.
He's got a lot of improvement to make from what he was.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's get better each game. Yeah, for sure. Think about it. That's the game before this first game of the season. He looked worse way worse than he did in this first game of the season, and we still think he doesn't look good. So he's got lots of improving to do for sure. But if he keeps improving, he gets his legs underneath him and all of that, then he gets a 2-week break. And hopefully he doesn't have to travel, right? That's going to be the other part. If he has to travel, then yeah, I think we're scared.
I think my problem with Partey is the availability more than the ability at this point. I need you to be available.
Yeah.
The ability part does matter, but
Yeah.
if you're going to give me, let's just do 17 star games out of 35, but you're only available to suit up for 17 of them. You know what I mean? Like I need more from him.
Well, he's going to get managed. He's not going to play. Like I don't
Right.
think he's going to touch 30 games in a season, be it
But
off the bench or.
But I want it by the manager's choice to manage him, not because he has no choice but to manage him.
Well, that's Arteta has to be a better. Like if he can't go, like we'll find out. If, for example, he breaks down after 3 games, goes away, comes back even more hurt, then we know he can't play him 3 games in a row. Like this is not. It doesn't get any easier from here on out. All right, and that's where you have Jorginho, and then maybe you split you can switch both of them until like maybe Moreno's the answer there or not. I don't know, or Rice is the answer, right? But that's where you got options now. Like Rice could play the 6 in certain games. All right.
And Nowari can play in the midfield too, right? So
yeah, and then he can sit next to him, Erdogan, and now you've got 2, and I think Nweri is decent at holding up the ball for sure, especially in a game like maybe not a City or North London derby, but in many of the other ones, he probably could do just as well. Like he could be our Manu, right?
Yeah, and you could even get away with this. Here's another one you could get away with: Rice at the 6, Vieira at the 8, and Odegaard playing as well. In certain
But I don't
games,
know who Vieira is. Is that a player from our team?
You know who he is. He just
Tony, you know Vieira? I don't
everybody
know.
knows.
Tony, do you know who Vieira is?
I know who Stan thinks he is. He looks like a certain character off Prison Break.
Yeah. No, yeah. All right, we are here now. We've hit the 2-hour mark. We are going to start heading out.
He's a player that should be sold.
Who is? Oh, Vieira.
Vieira,
Kirior, Nelson, and Kedia, Ramsdale. Those are 5 players we could potentially sell. Think about it. If we got rid of those players, not that we need to, but if we did, and then like say we only do bring in 1 or 2 more players, then like we'll have the monies that we want for that big purchase next year. Maybe that is Isak, right?
or you can buy Tony. Or you can buy Tony.
You can be Tony now, yeah, but you could still buy Isak.
Yeah.
You could buy Tony now, and you can still buy Isak if you could sell all those players.
Yeah, I would be happy.
Spencer, talk to me. We're about to get out of here.
Man, I'd like Isak more than I'd like Tony.
No, we can get both.
Both of them.
We're getting both. We're not going for one. You remember when Jerry Jones was talking to Deion Sanders, and he said 15 or 20 mil, and he says both. Remember
Hold on now. Is this EA Sports FC 25 and we got taken over by a billionaire? Is that what happened?
No, we just buy if the only purchase that we did was Tony, right? On top of Moreno. Right? But we sold Ramsdale, Nelson, and Kedia. We would have monies. Our PSR would be actually probably green.
Yeah, sign me up for that. Let's do it.
And then next year we could go and buy that big 100 mil player.
I don't think I like where your head's at, Tony and Gary, on this one. I endorse it and find a way to make it happen for me. So by the time we sit down here next Monday night, we're like, hey, Gary's playing and Tony's playing. We got
our own Giroud coming off the bench, and then like the New England coach is like, look, I got an answer now. Maybe Watkins is the future, and then you've got Tony coming off the bench, getting England some trophies that they haven't gotten, getting trophies in England, getting trophies around the world. There you go.
Tony gets a goal for you and hits his parlay, right?
There you go.
So,
all right, talk to me. We're getting out of here. Yeah, not Patrick Vieira. You're not Patrick Vieira. All right, let's get out of here. Tell the people bye-bye, Spencer.
Well, everybody, thanks for coming by tonight. It was fun. Hopefully, I don't have to work another weekend for another 2 months. So luckily, I'll be around a trip on Saturday, and looking forward to the Villa game. It's going to be a big game. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Everybody stay safe. The fan circle's on Thursday, and trying to think of any other. Yeah, I think that's all I can think of right now. But you guys take care and stay safe.
Cool.
Yeah, hopefully we exercise the ghost that we had last year, which was Emory. Came back to haunt us. 6 points we lost. Those 6 points, we would have won the lead. So this weekend's big. We need the 3 points, but we also need to know that Arteta can beat Emory.
I hear you. Anything else?
No.
All right. All right. Once again, everybody, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. No more empty weekends. We're gonna have football. You're gonna keep Ramsdale. Yeah, I get the keeping him for the backup, but he needs to play football. And last year was he needs to go. Like I know they've got this. I believe it's a Spanish goalkeeper, the number 2 Spanish goalkeeper,
Yeah,
who might come in
Garcia.
for us. So I think that might be a good sign. He might push Raya, So we'll see. But we needed a decent number 2. If he can play number 2 for Spain, I think he can he can probably cover for us as well. So
Ideally, Gary, if
yeah,
it was up to me, I would hold on to Ramsdale till January and then sell him when some club becomes desperate.
yeah, I think
That's me.
Ramsdale sat long enough. I would be if I was Ramsdale's agent, he's not sitting around for 6 months to leave.
He on 120K a week, baby. That's a lot of money.
He's a starting goalkeeper. I mean, come on, we're making out like he cannot start for a Premier League team.
No, I agree with that.
He's
I
not
just
going up in terms of quality, right? He's going down. So he can start for any of the teams below us,
yeah.
right? He can't start for like a Liverpool or a City or,
Yeah.
a team like that. So I
United,
think,
yeah.
yeah. So
He definitely needs sold. We can't have a stupid loan with an option to buy.
yeah, none of
If
that
there is
stuff. Yeah.
if there is a loan, and it needs to be a high number on the.
With an obligation to buy.
No obligation. Yeah, they need to pay his salary. What the world's all about?
Well, that was a rumor with the Wolves. The rumors that they were willing to pay the salary too.
Yeah, but the one I just saw was the one the other. No, is that it was it was Wolves that said they didn't want to pay. Like the Wolves said they didn't want to pay his salary. I thought. Yeah, Wolves. Yeah, Wolves don't want to pay initial loan and cover most of his salary. What? Nah, Wolves don't really want a player. But anyways, like I said, everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll do this again next week, Monday. We'll be talking about the Villa game and getting ready for the Brighton game. And hopefully, and then, yeah, by then, hopefully we have 2 more new players on the squad. My understanding is Moreno will hopefully be at the game or be with the team anyways. Maybe be at the game because it's not like he hasn't been, if he's going to bring him, or they're bringing him in, they should just bring him in. Right? So, I mean, somebody goes to the bench. Right? Could be Zinchenko. Could be Zinchenko. If Timber and
Yeah.
Calafiori are available and they're going to get minutes, then Zinchenko might not suit up. So,
We're talking about Arteta.
dude, some people aren't going to get to play eventually, and that's what's going to happen, right?
Not
Bringing them
resting.
like right now. Nelson and Nketiah were on the bench. Nobody, we wouldn't miss them. We just missed the fact that we'd be down 2 attackers on the bench. That's the problem. That's why they need to be replaced. But anyways, thank you again for joining us. We'll do this again. Yeah, we'll see you guys on either Thursday for the Arsenal Fan Circle, or we'll be on the road trip right before the Arsenal match. So yeah, we'll talk about all the other games, and then the Arsenal match will be after that. I don't know if I'll be doing a watch along. That'll be a long 4 hours for me if I stay on. So more than likely I might not do the show. I might jump on with Ryan maybe, but we'll see how it's going. If it's going well, I'll just stay on and we'll do the usual, you know. But we'll see how that all plays out. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Say goodbye, and we'll see you guys on the next one. And final words.
Life is a journey. Don't waste your trust.